cool. This is a follow-up to something I believe we talked about briefly
Did
in
we?
a previous podcast. I think we did. I certainly followed it back then. Whether we talked about it or not, who knows? Maybe we did. We've done 51 of these fucking things so far, so it's tough to keep track. China is officially lifting the video game ban on consoles and game sales in China that was started in 2000. They did a pilot test. They did a test of this.
Pilot test unbanning?
Yeah, like they did. Basically, they unbanned for a trial period in 2014.
It's just so silly to say that. We're going to
Sure.
see if this doesn't affect our communist culture. We're going to unban a little bit
So
here.
they unbanned it in 2014 to kind of see what happened, and now they are permanently unbanning video game systems
Because
now,
they see there's a market for tons of money to be made.
Now, the thing was, is money was still being made for shops. Shops were still selling stuff on the black market, widely open, even though it was technically illegal. From what I could gather, people weren't getting in trouble for this. But there's some good news to this. One, retailers should have easy access to their goods. Are they going to probably get taxed the hell out of themselves? Are they going to get a ton of taxes from China? Yes, probably. But having open and easy access to the goods they want to sell is going to be a great thing. Two, there should become a China region, essentially, for games, I would think. What this or Asia region, I'm hoping, is what they'll adopt.
A more generalized Asian region.
Yeah, because there's Japan, there is an Asia region. I'm hoping that China simply becomes part of the Asia region.
I don't see why I wouldn't. Yeah.
But the reason why is because a lot of these black market stalls would import stuff from wherever they could. So you never knew if you could run. You had to be very careful about making sure you could run this game on X system. This will also eliminate potentially unplayable bootlegs.
Bootlegs.
This is good too.
It'll keep the price down for consumers.
Well, that's where I was going. You look at a place like Mexico that does not really have an infrastructure for like video game distribution, and the prices for a lot of games is insane. When Vonnie and I go down to visit parents and such, we'll usually spin through a video game store, and like a DS game that's going for 40 here or 35 here is going for like 70 or 80 in Mexico. I imagine that's largely what was happening in China too. During the period of the ban. It's interesting because it's interesting because China can still censor exactly what games are sold.
Sure.
Okay? Now, Sony is basically all about this. Microsoft has yet to comment, okay? So Sony's all about it. However, Sony has all of these, mature rated games that could potentially get censored. Which means that people will go back to the black market for these games, which means are they going to be able to play them on their legally purchased Chinese systems? What's funny to me is, in this article, Nintendo says they are carefully looking into the market. The fucking... Nintendo doesn't have a goddamn game that would be censored. Nintendo honestly could stand to profit the most from this with the least amount of interference from the Chinese government.
It's not political anyway.
I mean, who knows? But I just think it's odd that, it's not odd. I just think because it's Nintendo, it's not odd.
Well,
I just think it's funny because Nintendo's games are the least likely to be censored.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it. I mean, it's one thing for Sony to do that, but it's not like Japan and China are great friends.
No, I know.
So
I know.
So it might be the sort of thing. Well, we can't come out and say, "Oh, good for our relationship with China." Maybe they're gonna be like, "Yeah, Nintendo is. They're like the cool kid at the party in the corner. Like they're pretending to care, but they're not like whatever. They're too cool for school."
It's true. And I mean, honestly, Sony particularly is going to make their money.
Well, Sony's like, we got to make the money no matter what. So hell, let's open it up to wherever we can.
And maybe at this point they're probably profiting on PS3 system sales, so they could sell those. They have some first-party titles that they can sell, but. A lot of the big titles on that system are third-party, so whether they get censored or not does not matter to Sony.
I'd love to see if there's, like, Chinese Amiibo knockoffs out there. That'd be hysterical if there were.
I mean, maybe.
This is good news for everyone. I hope they do a pilot for, not censoring websites and searches. That'd be cool if China did a pilot for free speech. That'd be awesome.
Pish posh.